The first annual Flat Earth Lies conference. As you can see, we've been banished from the main conference room to this side room by Nathan Thompson, of course. He is watching constantly with his new spy glasses. I guess old Mark Sargent wasn't pleased with our assessment of his question 1. So we'll see how today goes. I hope that you all slept well in spite of your accommodations here. I know that you must have had an interesting dinner. The nutty peanut butter sandwich on flatbread with water to drink, which conformed to its paper cup. I personally had a very nice gourmet dinner and really nice sleep accommodations. I slept very well at the Hyatt Regency, which is right next door. Well, without further ado, it's time for us to check in with Mark to see what question number 2 is. If we're very quiet, we should be able to peek in through the back door and into the conference room and see what's going on.
Number 2, vacuum versus gravity. The force of a vacuum is measured in units of torr, T-O-R-R. Even a low-level vacuum can overcome gravity here on the surface. In building molecule-free chambers for the manufacturing of electronics, a series of massive pumps are needed to create a 99% vacuum. That's -9 torr. And for the remaining 1%, horsepower isn't enough. It can only be achieved by a chemical leaching process. That being said, how is the -10 torr vacuum force of space not ripping off the atmosphere of this world? What is gravity? And remember that there are gases that already defy it, like helium, hydrogen, and fluorocarbons. Isn't it more logical to suggest that the atmosphere is being contained in an enclosed, pressurized system? They had no answer.
Did you all peek in? Well. So the old atmosphere next to a vacuum meme. Of course, there is the usual silliness of the dome enclosure and some information that he thinks is about the pressure next to the dome, which again is total rubbish. So let's talk about measurement of pressure first. He says it's -9 to -10 torr. Now just think about this for a minute. -9 to -10 torr. Apparently, the leader of the flat earth world does not realize that any air pressure cannot be negative, can never be less than 0. Zero air pressure is a perfect vacuum. So how could you have less than 0 air? That's like epsilon less than 0. I find it interesting that he talks a lot about gravity. I thought he built a good case for gravity, which is totally against what flat earthers believe. They don't believe in gravity. They think it's not a force. And that's why helium balloons float away, which we all know is a total fabrication. So he talks about hydrogen, helium, and fluorocarbons. It's interesting to me that fluorocarbons are 4 to 5 times heavier than air, which means that fluorocarbons would stay near the ground. There's no reason for fluorocarbons to float away. His final point is that it would be better to have a dome with a pressurized system than about a completely closed system with a very hot heating element inside, like a terrarium. Now imagine if you had a terrarium, or you've seen terrariums, you know, like a big bowl with dirt and plants and maybe an animal like a lizard or something. And it has usually a heating element that keeps the temperature constant. So that's what the Earth would be in a dome. And what you would find is with the sun going around the flat Earth in the dome, heating up the Earth, that it would constantly heat up, and eventually you would have like a pot of water boiling. It would be so hot in there. I think they need to rethink this dome thing. Another thing that I've always wondered about, that I have tried to ask flat earthers about, is the fact that they say that the dome is about 3,000 miles high. The atmosphere ends at about 60 miles, 100 kilometers. And so you wonder what exactly fills that dome, that empty space there between the atmosphere and the dome. We all know they call the second law of thermodynamics and say, you know, a gas has to fill its container. And so if they didn't have the dome, it would all float away. So it's kind of like old Nathan Oakley on his public abuse show. I mean, public debate show, or Nathan Thompson in a room full of NASA employees with his spy glasses. So that's all I have about question 2. I hope that you will try to enjoy your dinner tonight, which is flat earth pizza, a cheese wall, filled up so it surrounds the pizza there, and of course water which will conform to its paper cup. And so that's all I have today. You guys stay tuned for question 3, which I hope will be tomorrow. It's kind of hard to get these made because the flat earth in black are following me, and right now standing outside the door. So we have to really be careful. Watch out when you're leaving. Who knows what aliens are around. So good night.